The Signify Performance Management System is a powerful tool that streamlines, formalizes and automates the performance agreement process. This enables effective goal setting between employees and managers. Let's see how the system can help you to manage team and organizational performance. Meet Joe Black. He is a manager who oversees a team of employees. Joe receives a reminder email from the system to remind him of the approaching deadline to submit his performance agreement. When accessing the system, Joe can see his performance management dashboard that displays the status of his performance agreement. In addition to viewing his agreement, Joe can also view the agreement statuses of the people reporting to him. He manages two groups of people, each with its unique setup and rules. At the top of Joe's dashboard, the timeline shows the different phases of his performance agreement. In this example, the process involves a biannual review, consisting of two periods, the mid-year review and the final review. You can customize the descriptions and phases based on your company's needs and business rules. This example also includes a 360-degree evaluation phase, which is done at the end of the performance year. Let's delve into the process in more detail. At the beginning of the performance year, goals are set for the first semester. This is the contracting phase. Informal check-ins happen throughout the semester. This ensures that the employee is on track to meet their goals. At the end of the first semester, a review of the agreement takes place, and the employee is rated or scored. Typically, the goals for the second semester are confirmed during this meeting. Informal check-ins continue during the second semester to ensure that the employee is still on track to meet their goals. At the end of the second semester, a review of the agreement is conducted, and the employee is rated again. On Joe's personal performance dashboard, he can track his progress in the different phases. He can see that he has initiated the completion of his agreement, but he must still confirm his objectives for the final review and submit them to his manager for approval. When Joe opens the agreement, his dashboard is divided into 5 sections. In this example, the first section is called the Primary Goals section. In this section, Joe adds perspectives such as customer services, development, and internal business processes. Each perspective has its own weight. Joe also has the flexibility to add another perspective, like finance, and allocate a weight of 20% to ensure the weights of all perspectives add up to 100%. Joe can select key performance areas, or KPIs, from a library, input them manually, or copy and paste them from another document. For each KPI, he defines one or more KPIs and assigns weights that add up to 100%. When adding a KPI, Joe specifies the measurement criteria and the rating scale to determine how specific ratings will be achieved. The next section is called the Stretch Goals section. This section follows the same structure as the Performance Goals section and allows Joe to set stretch goals for further development. The third section is called the Company Values and Behaviors section. This section presents a preloaded list of items defined during the module configuration. It consists of the same set of values and behaviors applicable to all employees in the organization. The fourth section is the Leadership Behaviors section. This section comprises a standardized list of items. These are used to evaluate leadership behaviors for all managers. This section will be visible only to people in a leadership role. The fifth section is the Competency section, which lists the competencies that the employee will be evaluated against. Joe can perform various functions on this page, including printing the agreement, editing section weights, and submitting the agreement to his manager for review. The system is flexible enough to allow you to configure it according to your own business rules. This means you can use terms different from perspective, KPA, and KPI. You can also customize the description of each section. You can hide any section you don't want to use and only have one section active. You can hide the perspective category of the first two sections. You can configure timelines for each phase in the performance agreement process. And much more. Joe has now completed his performance agreement and is ready to submit it. Even with the automation in play, Joe knows how important it is to discuss this with his manager. This ensures that the content of his agreement is agreed on before he submits it for manager approval. When Joe submits the agreement, an email confirmation is sent to his manager. The manager can then review and approve the agreement. If the manager makes adjustments, the agreement is flagged as unapproved. Recently, Joe received an email confirming that his manager had approved the agreement. With both Joe and his manager endorsing the agreement, Joe now has a clear understanding of the evaluation criteria for the upcoming months. Joe plans to regularly refer to the agreement to ensure he stays on track. Now it's time to delve into the tasks at hand. To navigate the performance review process for his team, Joe relies on the Signify Performance Management System. Let's walk through the steps that Joe takes to oversee this process. Similar to Joe's personal timeline, his manager dashboard mirrors the timeline specific to his team members. It provides a snapshot of the phases each employee is currently navigating and outlines the necessary actions that Joe must take next. For those without performance agreements, Joe holds the reins. He can kickstart the process for new team members, or empower his seasoned employees to initiate the process themselves. It's all about flexibility. When initiating an agreement, Joe has a range of options within the Performance Management Module. He can create a new empty agreement from scratch and populate the detail afterward. He can copy from a template as created by the HR department. He can duplicate from the employee's past agreements and modify it. He can clone an agreement from another team member with a similar role and modify it. Beyond the formal reviews, the Performance Management Module introduces a valuable feature: the ability to track informal check-ins. These sessions capture dialogues between Joe and his team, zeroing in on specific key performance indicators. They help to gauge whether everyone is on course or if adjustments are needed. A simple click on the check-in button for a specific team member records these valuable insights. A dedicated dashboard offers a comprehensive view of the overall check-in status. It neatly lists all items, indicating the last tracking date, status, and any comments made during these informal sessions. Regular check-ins empower both Joe and his team to enhance performance, manage expectations, and prepare effectively for formal reviews. In instances where expectations are not met, Joe can create an action plan item. This plan guides the employee on how to enhance specific KPIs, suggesting actions like mentoring, coaching, or formal training. All action plan items find a home in the dedicated action plan section at the bottom of the agreement. By harnessing the Performance Management Module's capabilities, Joe effortlessly streamlines the performance review process for his team. This ensures ongoing performance assessment and builds a culture of continuous improvement. Fast forward a few months, and Joe's first semester performance goals are up for discussion. His manager Sue schedules a performance review discussion in a few days' time to dive into and rate those goals. In the meantime, Joe has been using his agreement and check-in dashboard to reflect on goals, make notes, and attach evidence documents for specific KPIs. He prepares for the meeting by self-rating each key performance indicator and adding comments where needed. When he is done, he submits his ratings, and an automated email is sent to Sue. She prepares for the meeting by providing her manager ratings for each of Joe's KPIs, adding her insights and comments where necessary. Thanks to Joe's proactive submission, she already knows how he rated himself. During their sit-down, Joe and Sue have a constructive conversation. They agree that one KPI should be excluded from the final rating as it's no longer Joe's responsibility. Sue adds comments and adjusts the scores. In addition, Joe's comments and documentation bring added insights to the rating process, prompting Sue to tweak her initial ratings. Sue identifies areas where Joe could use some training to up his game. She adds relevant courses to Joe's action plan and personal development plan. As the action plans are completed, the training department can run training needs analysis reports and pinpoint training needs that were identified during the performance reviews. Once Sue submits her ratings for Joe, Joe receives a confirmation email. When Joe accesses his performance dashboard, he sees an overview of his scores. This provides him with a clear picture of his performance and progress towards his goals. He can easily track his achievements and areas for improvement. In addition to viewing his own scores, Joe can also see the overall scores of the people reporting to him. This allows him to gain insights into their progress. Apart from the functions available to employees and managers, the Performance Management Module provides specific functions for HR, or those responsible for the performance management process in the organization. These include performance status reports, graphical dashboards, score calibration, and synchronizing data to other modules, such as the Career and Succession Planning module. In summary, a well-designed and effectively implemented performance management system contributes to organizational success. It improves communication, employee development, and overall performance. And it promotes a culture of continuous improvement and accountability that benefits the organization and its people.